I need you to stop and pay close attention to this. If you're a man over 60 and you've been told to eat more vegetables to improve your health, but no one told you that some of the vegetables sitting right now in your refrigerator might be the very reason you're experiencing prostate enlargement and reduced erectile function, then this message is for you. You may be slowly losing your manhood and unable to take control of your sex life, not because you're getting older, but because you've been eating things that were never clearly defined. And I'm Dr. Grace, with over 30 years of experience helping men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s naturally restore their sexual energy. I've seen hundreds of patients completely transform their sexual and mental health after just a few small changes in their diet. What if I told you that your daily plate of vegetables, yes, vegetables, is loaded with unidentified compounds that increase estrogen, harden your arteries, and inflame your prostate? Even worse, many well-meaning experts still insist that these vegetables are heart-healthy. The contradiction is that these so-called healthy meals may actually be silently damaging your body. In this video, I'm going to reveal 3 forgotten vegetables that most men overlook, but which scientific research shows may help you reclaim your masculinity, support your prostate, boost confidence, and restore blood flow in just a few days. And if you truly care about blood circulation, testosterone, and sexual desire, I'll also show you 3 vegetables you should stop eating immediately. Watch until the end of the video, because I'll show you how to prepare these vegetables in a way that maximizes nutrient absorption, helping you stay strong and healthy well into your 80s. But before we dive into the shocking truths about these seemingly harmless vegetables, click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell, so you don't miss any videos on how to stay healthy, live smart, and stay confident after 60. If you find this information helpful, type 1 in the comments below. And if you're not sure, just type 0, so I can keep improving future videos and bring more value to you. I want to begin with the true story of a man I personally treated about 2 months ago. He was a retired principal, 70 years old, named James. A man who had lived his entire life with discipline, a sharp intellect, and a committed marriage. From the outside, everything seemed fine, but he was missing something essential. A bit confused, somewhat embarrassed, he walked into my clinic. "My health is still okay, doctor, but I don't feel like myself anymore," he said. "My energy is running out. I'm exhausted, and the fire in the bedroom is completely gone." We ran tests. Aside from slightly high cholesterol and a healthy heart, one thing caught my attention. His testosterone levels were low, while his estrogen levels were unusually high, especially for a man his age. I began asking about his diet. James shared, proudly, that years ago he had replaced red meat and dairy with so-called heart-healthy foods like tofu, soy milk, and edamame, exactly as his cardiologist had advised. And at that moment, the missing piece started to appear. Soy, that was the first vegetable men should consider cutting back on, or even avoiding altogether, though praised for many benefits. Soy contains phytoestrogens, plant compounds that act like female estrogen in the male body. For men over 60, this is critical. Testosterone naturally declines with age. When you add fake estrogen compounds into your body through food, you're throwing your hormones even further out of balance. The result? Low libido, physical weakness, chronic fatigue. For many men like James, erections become inconsistent or disappear completely. The problem is this: soy doesn't only exist in obvious foods like soy milk or tofu. It sneaks into protein bars, snacks, sauces, and meat substitutes because soy is cheap, easy to produce, and marketed as healthy. But your hormones aren't fooled. Though skeptical, James was willing to try. We replaced soy with other clean protein sources, and within just a few weeks, he regained his strong vitality. A month later, his wife sent me a handwritten note. Just one line: "Doctor, you gave me my husband back." Did I say that soy is poison? No. But for men over 60, especially those struggling with fatigue, sexual dysfunction, or loss of performance, it's a food best avoided. Next, let's talk about another vegetable, one even more surprising: It's present in the diets of millions of people, and especially in its processed form. It can cause chronic inflammation, arterial hardening, and block the blood flow to where you need it most. That vegetable is corn, not the fresh corn on the cob you eat at barbecues. I'm talking about processed corn, corn in the form of syrup, starch, vegetable oil, and the endless stream of packaged modern foods. Let me tell you about John, a 68-year-old man who walked into my clinic with heavy eyes. He complained about erectile dysfunction, chronic fatigue, and aching knees. Trying to live healthily, he had replaced real butter with margarine, which is usually made from corn oil. He thought he was doing the right thing for his heart, but he was unknowingly making his body worse. And he was facing chronic inflammation, the invisible yet dangerously destructive enemy. And one of the biggest fuel sources behind it? Omega-6 fatty acids, especially when they come from processed corn. Yes, our bodies need omega-6. But it must be carefully balanced with omega-3, the type found in fatty fish, walnuts, and flax seeds. Here's the problem: the modern diet has shattered that balance. On average, we consume over 20 times more omega-6 than necessary. And that pushes the body into a state of low-grade, persistent inflammation. Think of it like a small flame that never goes out. That flame attacks the endothelium, the delicate lining inside your arteries. And do you know what the endothelium produces? Nitric oxide, a critical compound that helps blood vessels dilate and circulate. When the endothelium is damaged, nitric oxide production drops, arteries stiffen, become less elastic. The result? Blood doesn't reach where it needs to go, including the penis. And it doesn't stop there. Inflammation also contributes to joint pain, fatigue, and possibly even prostate enlargement. In John's case, his so-called heart-healthy diet was making his arterial stiffness worse. The solution was clear. We replaced corn oil and soybean oil with fatty fish like salmon and added purified fish oil supplements. In just 1 month, John felt a dramatic difference. His joints hurt less, his morning energy came back, and most notably, his morning erections, long gone, finally returned. I always tell my patients, read food labels carefully. If you see corn oil, soybean oil, or corn syrup in the ingredients, remember, you may be unknowingly feeding the chronic inflammation that's squeezing the life out of your vitality. And now, we come to the third opponent, and also the most deceptive one. This is a vegetable often added to morning detox smoothies, found in every ultra-healthy salad. But when used the wrong way, it blocks the absorption of key minerals essential for testosterone. I'm talking about raw spinach. It may sound contradictory, but let me explain, through the case of William. William, a 71-year-old man, was an amateur marathon runner doing everything he could to stay fit. Every morning, he started his day with a huge green smoothie packed with raw spinach. He believed he was doing something great for his body. But test results showed low testosterone, low zinc levels, and he was feeling exhausted, with no desire or drive. His food wasn't wrong, but the way he was consuming it ruined the benefit. The main culprit? Oxalates, found abundantly in raw spinach. Oxalates are micronutrient thieves. They bind to minerals like zinc and drag them out of the body before you can absorb them. And zinc isn't just for immunity, it's a critical building block for testosterone production and prostate health. So with every nutritious smoothie, William was unknowingly robbing his body of the one thing men value most: vitality. Am I saying you shouldn't eat spinach? Not at all. Spinach is excellent, rich in magnesium, iron, and antioxidants. But the key isn't what you eat, it's how you eat it. Just by lightly cooking, steaming, or sautéing spinach for a few minutes, the oxalate content drops significantly, allowing your body to absorb the minerals more effectively. That's exactly what William did. He switched from raw smoothies to morning sautéed spinach with eggs. And within just a few weeks, his testosterone levels rose. His zinc improved, and the feeling of being himself again returned. And now, after you've identified the 3 silent enemies in your diet, soy, processed corn, and excessive raw spinach, it's time to turn the tide. Right now, I'm going to introduce you to 3 forgotten vegetables that aren't just healthy, but can actually help men over 60 restore their vitality and confidence. They're not expensive or exotic, but most men overlook them simply because they're so common. The first thing I want you to remember is the heartbeat. It's not just the foundation of life. The heartbeat is the undisputed champion when it comes to maintaining blood circulation. If poor circulation is the enemy draining your energy and sexual vitality, then your heart is the silent warrior that needs support. Remember James, the man who felt like his cardiovascular system had lost its life force? The answer I gave him was incredibly simple: beets. Beets are one of the richest natural sources of nitrates in food. When you eat beets, your body converts these nitrates into nitric oxide, a vital molecule that helps relax and dilate blood vessels, boosting blood flow throughout the body. Think of it like this: instead of a bent garden hose trickling water, your blood now flows like a fire hose at full pressure. According to a study published in the Journal of Nutrition, drinking beetroot juice daily can lower blood pressure and significantly improve endothelial function, meaning the health of the inner lining of your blood vessels. However, how you eat beets is the key. Canned or pickled beets often lose most of their beneficial nitrates due to high heat and long-term preservation. Worse, the pickling process loads them with sodium and acids, which can unintentionally damage your blood vessels. The solution is simple. Choose fresh beets, shred them raw into a salad, or lightly roast or steam them to retain their full nutritional power. The second hero in your journey to restore vitality is an endocrine champion: broccoli. For men over 60, maintaining the balance between testosterone and estrogen is critical. Many focus only on boosting testosterone, but forget that eliminating excess estrogen is just as important. And among vegetables, broccoli is one of the most powerful allies. It contains sulforaphane, a natural compound with incredible potential, reduces systemic inflammation, supports liver detoxification, and most importantly, helps eliminate excess estrogen to maintain healthy testosterone levels. But here's what most people overlook: sulforaphane is extremely sensitive to heat. When you overcook broccoli, or worse, microwave it, nearly all of this precious compound gets destroyed. At that point, you're left with nothing but a plate of fiber, missing the nutrients your aging body needs most. Think back to Robert, a patient who suffered from bloating and blurry vision. When I asked about his eating habits, he said, "Every night I eat broccoli. I microwave it for 5 minutes until it's soft." He had no idea he was unintentionally destroying the very vitamins and compounds his body was craving. As soon as I advised him to lightly steam broccoli for 3 to 4 minutes, or eat it raw with cashew sauce or tahini, everything started to change. His morning energy returned, he felt noticeably more alert, and he began to feel like himself again, strong, clear-headed, and full of life. Most notably, his frequent nighttime urination decreased, and his mental clarity improved. You see, just one small adjustment, but for men over 60, those small things are often the most important. Because the habits you repeat every single day can either be your greatest ally or your worst enemy. Overcooking broccoli doesn't just ruin its flavor, it destroys one of the most powerful chemical compounds for protecting the prostate. And that brings us to the final hero in this forgotten trio, a silent bodyguard for testosterone: mushrooms. Yes, mushrooms. Specifically, white button mushrooms, the common variety you can find in any grocery store. Take John, the marathon runner I mentioned earlier. Even though his zinc levels had improved, he still felt a noticeable drop in both sexual desire and competitive drive after increasing spinach in his diet. There was nothing wrong with spinach, but clearly, his body was still missing a piece of the puzzle. And that missing piece was an insidious enzyme called aromatase, the testosterone thief, that your body produces more of as you age. Aromatase's job is to convert testosterone into estrogen. And in older men, especially those with a bit of belly fat, this enzyme becomes even more active. That means your valuable testosterone gets stolen before you can even use it. That's why, even with decent zinc levels, John still didn't feel healthy because his testosterone was being converted too quickly into estrogen. And this is where mushrooms shine. Research from the Beckman Research Institute shows that white button mushrooms contain compounds that act as natural aromatase inhibitors. They don't directly boost testosterone, but like skilled bodyguards, they protect the testosterone you already have, preventing it from being converted into estrogen. This allows more free testosterone to stay in your bloodstream, so it can continue doing its job, boosting vitality, sexual desire, mental clarity, and muscle mass. And the final piece of the puzzle fell into place when I advised John to eat garlic sautéed mushrooms with olive oil a few times a week. About a month later, he called me. His voice was deeper, steadier. "That's it, Doc," he said. "My drive is back. The energy isn't frantic, it's calm, grounded. We've come a short way. But I believe it's enough for you to realize this. It's not the pill bottle. It's not the gym. It's what you put on your plate every day. That shapes your strength and defines your manhood. A bit of mushrooms sautéed in olive oil to guard your testosterone like a loyal sentinel. A small serving of lightly steamed broccoli to quietly but powerfully balance your hormones. A glass of fresh beet juice to keep the blood in your heart flowing with life. And in that moment, you're sending a powerful message to your body. I'm coming back. I'm not surrendering. If these things made you think of yourself, or of a man you care about, share this video with him. Maybe, just one small story will reignite something that's been quiet inside him for far too long. And if you found something meaningful in what I shared today, hit the like button, leave a comment, or simply write, "I understand. I read every comment." And it's your feedback that guides the direction of this channel's journey. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another deep, honest conversation about men's health after 60.